Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger, and this is another episode of Under the Radar, where we talk all things film. And I have a lovely panel tonight of guest critics. We have Mr. Matt Roran back for more of the show. Welcome back there.
Great to be here.
We've got Mateo Moreno. Hey, Mateo, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yeah. And we have a relative newcomer to the show, Jimmy Chung. Welcome back. You were actually on the Ghostbusters. We did a commentary for that for Ghostbusters Day a few weeks back. I think it was almost, yeah, no, actually, it was over a month ago. And we had a lot of fun with that. Jimmy, you're also part of which Ghostbusters franchise are you with?
I tried to get in a Ghostbusters franchise, but it would be Ontario. They're not accepting new members at the moment, but I do have a 30-foot inflatable Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, so that makes me happy.
Well, guys, I just want to go around real quick, and we'll do some. We used to call pandemic picks, but I think we're going to change the name to weekly watches or weekly watching. Basically, what are we watching this week? What are we streaming? What are we watching on DVD or Blu-ray, etc. Jimmy, since you're relatively new, what have you been watching?
Loki. I'm all caught up, and I'm stoked for the final episode coming up this week. I just, like, as soon as I'm done, like, immediately have a set of friends that I immediately go to. I'm like, oh my god, I've seen it. Then everybody confirms that they've seen it. I'm like, shall we begin? And we start talking about it nonstop. I drop by Reddit and I pick up all the memes and I bring them back. And then we just, like, talk about everything that happened in the episode. I just love Marvel, you guys.
Oh, sure. And we're about to get into some Marvel action tonight, but first, Mateo, what are you watching this week?
I started watching the Hacks on HBO Max. It's really good. It's a really good show. It has Gene Smart in it. And I just started, but I'm only literally a couple of minutes into Mike White's new show, The White Lotus, which is also an HBO Max show. And it's has Steve Zahn in it, and Alexandria Daddario is also in it. So doing a little TV action. I'm usually I love TV, but I just don't have time to watch anything but Marvel. I am also all caught up on Loki. And also immediately go to the Reddit to after the episode, which is about 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, because I'm a psychopath and I can't wait till the next morning.
I started off at like 3 in the morning, just like you, but now I'm all like, okay, I'm going to try to squeeze to like 5:30 or whatever. The main reason why I started watching at 3 in the morning was because of all the spoilers that end up online.
Yeah.
They just show up almost immediately.
You can't click on anything.
You can't.
At
You know
all.
what's the worst that ever happened to me? I was on like a cooking page, and in the comment section, somebody threw up a scene from The Force Awakens. I'm just gonna say, I'm sure everyone's seen it by now. Huge spoiler, just in case. Han Solo getting stabbed by a lightsaber. I'm like, what is this doing here? What is this doing here?
And I should just mention, guys, especially Jimmy, this is a spoiler-free zone. So.
Ooh.
Yeah, we don't want people to
Just
get
don't spoil The Force Awakens, man. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
You mean Han Solo dies?
Years late. So, but yeah.
So we're not going to say any spoilers for anything that happens in the movies that we're
No
reviewing?
sudden move.
Right.
No spoilers for No Sudden Move.
Exactly.
But all the
I'm gonna
spoilers for
spoil
Black Widow.
right now. She died.
Oh yeah, that's true.
She died 2 years ago.
So it's kind of weird. Is that technically a spoiler? Or
Definitely not a spoiler.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
I feel like if you're watching a review show of
Yeah.
the new Black Widow movie
Yeah.
and you're
Endgame.
spoiled on an old movie, you're probably seen Endgame by now.
Yeah.
It's a weird. It's a tricky situation, but yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
definitely a spoiler. Mr. Roran, Pickleman.
I went back, man. I'm watching Lost again.
Whoa, you went back to the island.
I
You had to go back to the island.
I had to go back.
Dude, I own the
because, well,
complete series.
it's funny because I was watching Manifest, they
Nice,
put that up
nice,
on
nice.
Netflix. And I'm like, man, this show is of like Lost wasn't as good as it was. And then I'm like, man, I just gotta watch Lost. So I'm towards the end of season 2. Like I've been plowing through them because I'm watching it at work.
Wow, dude.
And I'm at the end of season 2 right now, and it's like not that I forget how good it is because it's fucking amazing, but
Yeah.
God, just rewatching those episodes, and this is like probably my like 4th rewatch, but it's like, it's so good.
Yeah.
How great was it? That was like literally, what was it? It was like the first, for me personally, it felt like the first event television
Yeah.
series is a thing, right? Like
It,
I don't watch sports personally, but it felt like sports for me because I would rush over to find out what happens. The next day, it's like water cooler talk, basically.
Oh yeah,
And it was just nuts. It was so crazy.
yeah. I mean, you had that and Battlestar Galactica were on at the same time, and
Sir.
those two shows.
Sir,
There we go, man.
Oh, there he is.
But yeah, those two
that's my
shows,
Anders tattoo.
those two shows just changed television. Like
Yeah.
it completely changed the game, and for the better. I mean, TV has gotten so much better since then. Like,
Absolutely.
and those guys are pioneers, man. Like
100%.
I think what was it, seasons 2 and 3 that explored the hatch, right?
yeah, 2 is the hatch. Yeah,
Oh, great.
so
Something
good.
so simple can create such tension and mystery.
Oh yeah,
I
Beautiful.
have,
It's still my favorite show that
It's
I mean
so good.
done.
And people
I've
can
done
talk about how bad
rewatches.
it ended or whatever, but it doesn't. It
I'm one of the defenders of the ending. I'm one of those guys.
doesn't-
But also at the same time, like what you like, don't
Yeah.
don't like what you don't like. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
if one episode ruins an entire series, you didn't like the series to begin with.
Exactly. I mean, there's nothing that could they could have everyone it could have been the end of Staying Elsewhere where it's inside a kid's snow globe, and
Right.
I would have been like, whatever, man, best show ever. It's
It's a journey, you guys. It's a journey. Do you guys remember the numbers?
Oh yeah, I played every online game because I watched it live. I had the fake book that a passenger wrote. Like I had it all.
4, 8,
Okay.
15, 16, 23, 42.
There's a bar in New York City that would do live law screenings every week,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we would go to it. And still,
awesome.
the bar has the numbers on the outside of the bar.
That's so awesome. I've got the McFarlane Hatch set piece, I guess, or
I didn't even know McFarlane did a Lost series.
he did a bunch of action
Yeah.
It's
figures.
funny. I forgot where I was. I was outside somewhere, and I looked down, and it was the fucking Kate's plane. Her little
Oh yeah,
Nice.
her plane from from her time capsule was just on the ground somewhere, and
Shut
I was like, "Oh
up.
my god!" 'Cause I guess it
I
came-
hope you just started running. Just run the opposite
took it with
direction.
me. But
Oh, man.
I was like, "This is amazing," because it's like I guess it came with the figures. I didn't get the figures, but I think it came with Kate.
That's so yeah.
Yes,
that's
yes, it did.
definitely- That's
Yeah.
a series I need to rewatch for sure. Definitely because it kind of lost steam in the later seasons, I think. But I think overall,
Some people say that, but again,
It's like,
I'm
if
a
anything
defender.
Lost theme, it's 6, but it's it's still enjoyable. I
Yeah.
mean, because it's you can't because it's 4 super strong season should have been better but the writers' strike happened, which
Mhm.
totally
Mhm,
threw a wrench in the
mhm.
gears.
Yeah.
And then 5 is a really strong season as well.
Yeah.
You know what though? Originally they wanted it to be the network said 9 seasons or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all like, can we go with 4? And they're all like 6 or whatever. Yeah.
See, thank God for that back and forth, or else we would have had an entire season about Jack's tattoos.
Maybe. Maybe. They were really
One
stretching
episode
things.
was enough.
Speaking of Jack, didn't Matthew Fox get arrested, or there was an issue with him on a bus?
so,
with an
yeah.
old lady. He assaulted an old lady on a bus.
Listen, he
Did
was
he?
on an island for a while. You can't really just
I've
throw him
heard,
on the bus for that one. No, it's pretty bad.
but yeah, that's bad. And I think he was in the running to be in Superman Returns as Clark Kent, Superman.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh,
I think he was rumored. Yeah,
that would have been
Weird.
interesting.
I would have seen that.
Hmm.
All right, and as for me, whenever I do have a free moment, I've just been going through Michael Douglas's
Michael Douglas.
filmography randomly. Still doing.
Nice.
Matt, I know that look because you were doing the same thing with Dan Aykroyd, and I sort of took a page out of your book, and I just want to see everything Michael Douglas has done. I think his best movie that I've seen, well, one of them, and that's definitely fell under the radar, called called Solitary Man, where he plays basically this womanizing jerk who is basically everybody around him is annoyed with him, and he's got a horrible relationship with his family. He's an aging womanizer who hooks up with random women, and he's such a jerk, such a unlikable person that you kind of feel for him.
Unlikable, you like him.
Yeah, basically a likable, unlikable guy. But that's Solitary Man. It came out I think 2009, and also he did a movie with Diane Keaton. It's like a romantic comedy called So It Goes, and that one is on Amazon Prime. And he had a very small role in The China Syndrome, 1979, with Jack Lemmon and I should actually say Jane Fonda and Jack Lemmon because Fonda was fantastic.
Yo, he's also an Ant-Man.
He is.
Ants.
And while we're on the Michael Douglas superhero kick, he was in a movie. I think probably my favorite role of his, Wonder Boys, from 2000.
Great film.
And it's funny because like basically almost the entire main cast has been involved with a superhero movie. Frances McDormand, she was in Darkman. Tobey Maguire, obviously. Robert Downey Jr. There you go. And
Katie Holmes was in Wonder Boys.
Batman Begins.
Yeah.
That's Wonder Boys. It's kind of a weird coincidence that all these actors came together that are.
And if you put the words in reverse, Boy Wonder, it's Robin, y'all.
Whoa. But yeah, Michael Douglas. I think I'm halfway through his career, so yeah, that's what I'm watching these days. But guys, I think we should get into our first review. I mean, come on, let's do this.
Yeah.
And it is the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe entry, Black Widow, starring Scarlett Johansson as I guess you call her a super spy / ninja.
She's got skills.
Confronting her darker, her family life, which is kind of shrouded in mystery. She hooks up with her sister after years of not seeing her, played by the fantastic Florence Pugh, who I've never seen a bad performance from her, and she's only 25, so she's a very young talent. She was great in Fighting with My Family. She had a very small part in the new Little Women. She was in one of the most disturbing horror movies I've ever seen, Midsummer, or Somar, however you want to say it. And yeah, she's in this, and she's basically kind of toe-to-toe. She's on the same level as Scarlett Johansson, and in many aspects, I like her more than Scarlett.
She's just ScarJo in training. I mean, it's like she does a lot of the roles that Scarlett Johansson first started. Like, it's like Ghost World and like all the Woody Allen movies, and it's like
yeah. So she's kind of going in that direction. Yeah. That's her trajectory, to follow in her footsteps, I guess. You also have a wonderful supporting cast in this. You have David Harbour of Stranger Things, Rachel Weisz, Ray Winston, and William Hurt reprises his role as General Thaddeus Ross. And there are tons of Easter eggs in this movie, Marvel Easter eggs. So yeah, Jimmy, thoughts on Black Widow?
I liked it. But like it's really hard for Marvel to fail me, to be honest. Uh, the supporting cast shines so bright. All the actors well picked by Marvel. Um, uh, the the only problems I had with it would be there were some parts that I really wanted to be serious, but Marvel has a knack of like, oh, is it getting too serious? Here's a joke, or whatever, right? Which I'm all like, okay, I get it, guys, but it'd be cool to really, work on the character development a little bit more. I don't want to say anything because no spoilers or whatever. I do like that we get to see a lot more about Black Widow's origins and everything. It does feel like this movie should have happened like at least in phase 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
More so than like here we are in phase 4. Because the problem is also like when you know the fate of Black Widow, and then you're back. Every time like there's near misses, you're like, that should be fine, or whatever, but that's just how I felt. I watched it with my wife, and she's the one who noticed this. I didn't notice it myself, but she says that the camera was on Scarlett Johansson's butt a lot. I'm like, really, or whatever. I was more focused on the camera and where it was like how it was like shaky cam to be more realistic or whatever. I'm like, oh, put you in the moment a little bit more. That's what I was looking at. But my wife felt like, oh, the male gaze. So I was like, wasn't it a female director or whatever? But yeah. I don't know.
And it's fun. I should have mentioned this at the top there. The events take place after Captain America: Civil War, after the breakup of the Avengers, and leading up to Black Widow or Natasha Romanoff's death in Endgame. So it's kind of weird. It's like a weird transition. This is sort of a bridge, I guess. Yeah. But I think it worked okay. Typical Marvel movies, lots of action. The joking, I did notice that it was a little too much. It was like, especially from Florence Pugh's character. She would like punch a guy, and then she would make a snarky comment. Like it wasn't really necessary, and yeah, it didn't really add much to this.
I was gonna say there's like a pretty serious moment where they're talking about things that happened to them during their training in the Red Room. And it's some pretty dark stuff, but then the way that they're telling you about it, they're making a joke about it the entire time. Yeah. And this man knows. Matt knows what I'm talking about. But I did like the action. I found there was like a bunch of different types of action in there. Like it started off with like sort of almost Mission Impossible like action, and then it also led into almost like Pierce Brosnan like 007 action, and then by the end it got a little bit too crazy for me, like the final piece with all like the CGI and stuff like that felt almost borderline Transformers action. I was like, wait, what's happening now or whatever, because it was just an onslaught of like action.
Well, that was that's I'm pretty sure that's Industrial Light and Magic, and they have a tendency to have overbearing, slightly obnoxious set pieces like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like falling, lots of falling. She fell much further than she did when she died. But
stuff like that really annoys me in superhero movies. But what can you do? That's the formula. That's one of their tropes. So, Mateo, what did you think of Black Widow?
Well, I'm also like Jimmy. It's hard for Marvel to fail me. The last time I think I ever checked my watch was the second Thor, and I still really enjoyed it. But it was one that I think, in retrospect, gets better when you watch it over. But definitely took itself too seriously. I think there was a lot of things that went wrong with that, but it is still a solid film that I like to go back and watch. And clearly important in the Marvel trajectory as we keep on going back to it now.
Retroactively, yeah.
Yeah. But I for the first time I was a little scared going into it, and so I set my expectations really low. And I have to say I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was really, really strong. I have to disagree with both of you that I think the humor is what elevated the film for me. I think it was just the right tone for me. I do agree that some character development can, in most Marvel movies, can always use to be a little more. But I thought what they did with Florence's character, especially, is fantastic. I think she's a great addition. I think she's going to be amazing. They set her up really, really well for things to come. And I thought she was great. I thought her snarky comments, maybe it's because I'm a snarky comments kind of guy, but they were right up my alley. I loved them. I loved her breaking the tension because it also made sense with the character because she just can't get too real. And so she needs to break away from that moment. So that always made sense to me. I agree. It also should have been made 10 years ago. Not only because of the placement in the movie, but because why did it take Marvel this long to make a female-led action film, a solo action film? And I know that's been a debate online forever. But I thought what Kate Shortland did, the director, especially for being someone who she's primarily known for the TV series, Single Mom is Looking for Family. She did a Sundance movie called Berlin Syndrome. But I thought the action sequences were really, really cool. Really fun. At the end, it did get very CGI. But it was at least comic booky enough that I was able to just be like, this is fun. I'm having a good time. But yeah, Eric Pearson, who did Thor Ragnarok, wrote the screenplay. So it felt like a lot of that punchy kind of new wave Marvel, which I dig. Maybe that's not everyone's cup of tea. But I thought it was really good. And the supporting cast, David Harbour, Rachel Weisz. I thought the family unit in particularly, those were told really well. The villain, who I won't spoil here because I honestly didn't actually know that was going to be one of the villains, because I try to stay away from spoilers online, is very different than the comic book. And I think could have been done better. I liked the villain still, but I think it could have been a little juicier. But that's probably, all the only big thing I really had with that. You could really feel Eric Pearson's writing. You could feel Jack Schaefer, who did WandaVision, kind of punching up little bits. And I dug that. I really liked it. And I liked all of the callbacks. I liked, there's a scene at the end, of course, everyone should stay after the credits. I really liked it.
And you know what? I love the whole spy thriller espionage, darkness to this. It actually felt like a natural extension of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It kind of had that same vibe, which I really, really loved. And I think that series was one of the best entries in the Marvel Cinematic or Marvel TV universe. But
Marvel Studios.
It's all Marvel. It's all connected in some way. But you know what? Speaking of the comics and source material, actually Daredevil and Black Widow were a couple in the comics. And Charlie Cox from Netflix's Daredevil, he wants to do a crossover movie. So I think that would be pretty interesting.
I'm not into spoilers, but I will say I'm going to find it very hard to believe if Charlie Cox does not find his way into the Marvel Studios universe now.
Yeah. Some of the TV shows and movies, they don't really kind of coincide with one another. They should. It'd be great if this was a huge web of stories. I mean, but I think Kevin Feige and Feige. I think he's doing a pretty good job with the stories and kind of connecting.
I think he's honestly the reason why there's so much great content there. And I think that's also why Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was kind of very hits and misses depending on where you enter and watch it. But it wasn't run by him. It was run.
That was
That's
Jeff
why, yeah. And the producers on it, who are no longer even work with Marvel, we're not the same kind of creative, I think, influences. And as much as I like the Netflix stuff, I think it's cool that it kind of exists in its own. Maybe it's its own parallel universe. Some of it was definitely better than others. Exactly. Yeah, that could all just be the Netflix multiverse. Universe in. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah, it's cool.
With the exception of Iron Fist, we should never see that version again.
So Marvel is hitting it out of the park. This movie was actually delayed due to the pandemic. I think it was delayed at least 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so we finally have this really cool action sci-fi superhero thriller spectacle. Yeah. Matt, final thoughts on Black Widow?
I mean, I had a great time with it. It was one of those things, like Mateo said, like I went in with pretty low expectations. I mean, because it was like you have a movie that's been delayed for so long. It's our first movie in 2 years, and it's about a character who's already dead. So it's like you're kind of like going in like, oh god, I hope this is good, because you already have all the naysayers who are like, oh, now that first wave is done, and now it's like Eternals is stupid and Shang-Chi is stupid. They're not popular. It's stupid. You get all that crap from the internet, and it's like, please don't let this movie not be great, because then it's just gonna like feed those beasts. I'm sure they already hate it too because it's got a woman in it, but fucking dudes in their basement, fucking stacks of DC comics.
Oh jeez.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Lines are drawn on Under the Radar.
It's like kids come to my store and ask for DC comics. I'm like, get out. I'm just kidding. I just devoted a whole rack to DC today. But,
I'm literally reading only DC at the moment, actually.
I've always been a DC guy. I don't think I own any Marvel comics, to be honest. Maybe
that's terrible.
One Spider-Man.
Terrible. But yeah, it's one of those things though. Like I thought everyone's performances were great. David Harbour slayed me. I absolutely adored him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's redemption for him, because he wasn't bad as Hellboy. It's just that he was in a shit of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like people were like dismissing him because of that, but it wasn't his fault. It was the writing.
Yeah.
You know what? With David Harbour, I just realized that he might be a great contender, a great choice to play Mr. Incredible in a live-action Incredibles movie.
Oh yeah.
It would be perfect.
There was actually a scene that was very reminiscent of Incredibles, actually.
They're gonna make it. They're gonna make a live-action version of every.
Why not? If you're pulling Cruella out there, why not?
Yeah.
Whatever. I just wanted to say that David Harbour is great, but I did find his in the intro, his character is just vastly different with who he is by the end of the film, where in the beginning something happens and it's pretty dramatic, and he's just so serious is a thing, right? And then the next time you see him, and then for the rest of the film, just pure comedy actually.
Yeah.
I feel there's definitely that passage of time, because it's we don't know what happened to him in that passage of time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's pretty evident that he's kind of lost his shit.
Fair enough.
Because it's he's a broken man. And he's the perfect blend of Zangief and Homer Simpson. and remarkable. But yeah, I mean, I love the movie, and I'm sure I'll see it again, because with Marvel movies, I have ever since Homecoming, I made a rule that I never bring my kids to see a Marvel movie with me the first time I go see it.
Oh, jeez.
Because when we went to see Homecoming, the best scene in the movie by far, to me, is when Peter's in they're going to the prom, and basically Peter realizes that he's Vulture, that Michael Keaton's Vulture. That
Oh, yeah.
moment,
That's
and it's that moment where one of my daughters is like, I have to go to the bathroom, and
No.
and I was like, never again.
Oh.
So I always see it first, and then I take them to go see it later, which also helps me give it a second watching. So,
Mhm.
That's a good technique, Matt. I'm gonna.
yeah, I was after that. I was like, this is never happening again.
100%.
I am not
Kids
getting
ain't
up out of my
nuts.
seat.
Nice. Mateo, final thoughts on Black Widow for you?
I mean, I was surprised on how much I liked it. It probably helped that I had my expectations low, but it had the right blend of comedy and action for me. I think the cast was fantastic. Ray Winstone, who we haven't really talked about it, I thought he was really, really good.
Good thing.
I liked that it also didn't. The characters didn't take themselves seriously, too seriously rather. They weren't high and mighty action heroes. They were very real. There's an in joke about Black Widow's stance that I thought was very funny.
Hilarious.
So good.
And is a nice poke into that world when you watch something and you're like, why is that happening? Like they're aware of it, and to talk about that, I thought was very, very funny. I'll definitely see it again. I saw it in the theater. I'll definitely go back to the theater to see it again.
Nice, nice.
I had a good time.
Yeah, it's a fun one, definitely, and we all need that type of movie, even though it's a little late, but we got it finally. Thank you, Kevin Feige. Jimmy, closing thoughts on Black Widow?
I'm gonna watch it again, 100%. This like in Ontario at the moment, movie theaters still aren't open, so I do watch it on Disney Plus. But I just the entire time like, oh, that would look so good on IMAX, or like, oh, if only I was in D box seats, or like it'd be nice to hear like the audience just cheer, like as soon as that Marvel logo comes out, everyone just goes ah, whatever, right? Just that'd be so great, and so that's what I'm really looking forward to this Friday when movie theaters open again. I'm super stoked. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. I can feel the excitement through the computer right now, Jimmy.
Good. It's real.
It's happening, baby. Yeah. All right. So yeah, guys, Black Widow now out in theaters, also streaming on Disney Plus through Premier Access. I think it's worthwhile. It's worth the money, and it's just a fine film. It's exciting. It's funny. It's well acted, and Florence Pugh knocks it out of the park. I think she's the highlight. So Black Widow, check it out. All right, so we're going to take a short commercial break, but we'll be back with our second and final film review of the evening right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Randy Younger, Under the Radar. And our next film that we have under review is it's a period crime thriller called No Sudden Move, currently streaming on HBO Max, and it takes place in 1954 Detroit, and basically follows Don Cheadle, who has he's out of prison. He's looking for his next job, and basically he links up with Benicio del Toro, and we've also got Kieran Culkin in there, and the three of them are tasked with retrieving, well, stealing a very important document which is related to the automotive industry, and basically everything goes to hell. There's backstabbing. There's really awful people. There's a lot of moral ambiguity. There's just some gray area here, and there's a fantastic cast. Aside from Cheeto and Del Toro, you've got David Harbour again. That was a happy accident. John Hamm, Amy Seimetz, Brendan Fraser, who I am thrilled to see in a movie. I haven't really seen much of anything. I know he's done some TV over the past couple of years, but it is so nice to see him back on the silver screen, even though he has put on a little weight. It's still him under all that, and it's just nice to see him. We also have Ray Liotta and Bill Duke in supporting roles as some very unscrupulous characters. This movie, it was good. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it, but I thought it was entertaining. It had a good runtime. Movies of this nature, of this caliber, tend to go over the 2 hour mark, but this was 1 hour, 55 minutes. So that was very refreshing for me. Of course, the acting was great. You got some really big A-listers here, and they really Steven Soderbergh, who directed it, his attention to detail here for 1954 Detroit's perfect. He has these classic cars. He's got like pretty much every shot when they're outside, like in the suburban areas, you see all these 40s and 50s style cars in the background and driving through the shot. So that attention to detail is something I really respected. And yeah, so those two elements, that and the acting, those were really big selling points for me. So Mateo, I'm curious what your thoughts are on No Sudden Move.
I think I liked it a lot more than you. I thought it's like Soderbergh in his pocket. Like it's exactly what he knows how to do. It's so stylistically beautiful. The cinematography is fantastic. The dialogue is very on point. It feels like a crime drama that could have been made any time in the last 100 years. With obviously different actors. They're not that old. The cast is great. Don Cheadle, everyone is great, but Don Cheadle walks away with the movie. He is fantastic. A buddy of mine, Mums, is in it. He plays Jimmy. He passed away a few months ago, so that was very cool to see him on screen again. Bill Duke, it's always good to see Bill Duke. Bill Duke is just cool as hell every time he's in a movie. Also, Julia Fox, I thought was really good in this. She was in Uncut Gems. I think the screenplay I thought was sharp. I like, again, just like you, I like that it was under 2 hours. If a movie's 6 hours long and needs to be 6 hours long, I'm down. But often, especially a movie like this, often feels like it's padded by like a half hour of just stuff that should have been cut. But I really dug it. I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it on HBO Max. But it's I thought it was really entertaining with a really fantastic cast, with a great turn by Brendan Fraser. He is really, really good in this.
Okay. And I think they took a cue from The Irishman and decided to make it a lot shorter. So that was good. I think that was the inspiration.
I was like, they took a cue from The Irishman. Yeah, I mean, if anything, you don't want to make a movie that's 3 hours and 50 minutes.
Right.
I mean, the only way I'm sitting through that is if it's real cinema, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I would have gladly sat through a 5-hour version of Endgame.
Oh my god. Literally, like, I actually say to myself every single time something bad might happen, like, it's okay. I've lived a full life. I've seen Avengers Endgame. It's all right. Everything's okay. The only time I ever really feared for my life was like the week before Avengers Endgame. Like, what if I don't make it?
Endurance. It's an endurance test, guys. Oh, and Matt, what were your thoughts on this one?
I thought it was great. I mean, I love pieces like period pieces from like the 50s. I love like the set design. I love like to me it's like just so beautiful to watch, like, yeah, when they really nail it. And the dialogue I thought was fantastic. The screenplay was great. I mean, like everything about this movie was like top notch. I mean, and that cast. I mean, I couldn't have like picked a better dream cast. Yeah, I was like, it's just like so many people I love to see on screen. Cheadle. I mean, I don't know. Like I know there's hate for Cheadle out there, and I don't know why. Some people are like pretty anti-Cheadle, and I don't get that.
I've never met an individual.
I love Cheadle. I love.
Is that just because of Space Jam 2 trailer?
Probably. But I mean, yeah, he's remarkable in this, and then yeah, I mean Brendan Fraser. I mean, I absolutely love him, and having him back. I mean, we had him in he. I first saw him in The Affair, pop back up, the Showtime show, where he played like a prison guard, and I was like, oh my god, he's back! And then on Titans, he's fantastic. I mean, and not Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol. Yeah.
Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol.
He's a robot, and it's amazing. He's just he can't do any wrong. I mean, but yeah, I mean everything about this, I just loved. I felt like it really felt like a pulp novel. Like I felt like I was like it's like. Or like when Ed Brubaker did the criminal comics. It's like it's like a nice little like mini series, but it's like a perfect length. I don't know. I'd like to see something like this, like maybe like kind of like what they do with Fargo, the TV show, where it's like a different cat or true detective, where it's like a different cast, do something like, because it's like I just love stuff like this. I mean, it's like, so I don't know. It's top notch in my books.
Definitely, the attention to detail is amazing.
Yeah.
The sets, the cars, the costumes, everything, even the camera work. And there were some moments where I don't know if you guys noticed this, but you kind of had like a fisheye view. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jimmy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. It's a fish lens, and basically, I pointed out to my wife when we were watching it. I was all like, what I like about that is it's very much each character has tunnel vision, basically, right? Okay. And you're all like on this set course for themselves to take action, and I thought that was really cool of Steven to do that.
Yeah, that was a really different film technique. And I'm glad he utilized that because it really created a very unique atmosphere, a little like a very cool vibe. You don't see any. So, yeah, this movie. I mean, it's you can't really say much about it in negatively. I think overall, it's just a fine film. I hope some of the cast gets nominated for some awards next year because you've got a who's who of fantastic actors. And going back to Brendan Fraser, I can't get enough of him. Matt, he was another actor who I had to watch everything he did, and this was after The Mummy, right after The Mummy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I need to see
Xenoman, totally. Airheads.
I did just rewatch
with honors.
Yeah.
So great. He's such an underrated actor. Underrated actor, I'd say. I feel
like he's an internet darling at this point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also rewatched Blast from the Past recently. Also,
Oh my-
Whoa, Alicia Silverstone.
Christopher Walken, awesome. That's probably one of his. That's probably top 5 best movies of Brendan Fraser. I'd say that and The Scout. I love that.
Cool Ties. I mean, he's got so many.
He's got a lot of great films.
Got a lot of great ones.
So good, so good. So all right, well, Jimmy, would you recommend No Sudden Move to anybody?
You know what? That's the thing, actually. I was going to be like, I want to first start off by saying that I really love that you guys appreciate and love this movie. For myself personally, though, it's definitely not something that I'm usually interested in, to be honest. There's a lot of spinning plates in this movie, for sure. Just constantly. And then it's not just the spinning plates. After that, they're all like, hey, you thought I was going to do this? No, I'm doing this. And that's like multiple characters doing that simultaneously. And you're like, okay, cool. Whatever. But I'm looking at this spinning plate. I'm looking at that spinning plate. And now they just change colors? What's happening? You guys are obviously far better than I am. Far, far more intelligent than I am. With that said, beautifully acted. Like, I'm just going to echo everybody here. Brendan Fraser, is just so nice to see him anytime he pops up. It's such a tragedy what happened to him, and just to see him get back up there and show up again, it's just a pleasure. I love what Don did with his voice. You know, exactly.
Yeah, all raspy. Yeah.
Exactly. It was just
Right.
it was just really interesting to see him do something different with that. That was really cool too. And it was really cool to know that in the end it was all actually a true story, apparently.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it was just inspired by.
Was
Well, the outcome and what the companies were doing is true. That all really
Okay.
happened. So I
Well,
think
it's
it's a fictional.
Oh,
It's a
is it?
fictional. Yeah, it's a fictional world within a real story.
Fair enough.
From my
Okay.
understanding, yeah.
Because like at the end when there was like text and everything, like and then this happened, or whatever, I'm like, whoa. Like I had a very Johnny Depp Blow movie for me where I was like, oh, whoa, it was real the entire time, or whatever. I don't know. That was just me.
Cool. Mateo, would you recommend this movie?
I would definitely. Just like Matt was saying, I dig a crime drama, a period piece crime drama. Soderbergh's one of my favorite directors, especially when he's on point. I think it's a great idea, probably one that Soderbergh already has, if we thought of it, to make this a episodic series that with a different cast. He's already doing it with the Girlfriend Experiment. Every season, it's a new story and a new cast. This, I think, would be a great new HBO Max kind of thing. Set up a new crime drama in a different period of time. Put some great actors in it. Brendan Fraser's in every single one, no matter what time period.
You gotta have the one constant. You need a constant.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's funny, Soderbergh does pick very, very interesting projects, and he definitely is an auteur. He's got his stamp of approval. His stylistic choices are always strong. And I want to mention a movie that I am planning to rewatch, maybe tonight, definitely in the near future, Traffic, which stars my current golden boy, Michael Douglas. And I definitely need to rewatch that. It's also got a great cast. Benicio del Toro is also in it, Don Cheadle. And so that's definitely on my radar.
Featuring half the cast of this movie.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much 20 years ago, yeah. So that's sad. So Matt, would you recommend Sudden Move to people?
Yes, sir. I would.
Very good. All right, I love it. Well, and yeah, I think it's unanimous. We're all fans of No Sudden Move. All right, so guys, we have about 5 minutes left. I just want to really quickly go through coming attractions, stuff that's coming out this week and in the next couple days after that. So July 20th, we have a couple of movies here. The Man with the Answers, it's a drama romance. How It Ends, I actually saw it at the Tribeca Film Festival, Mateo. And
Thumbs up. It's so good.
yeah, it's a very quirky comedy, about a woman who basically is walking in her neighborhood with her younger self. It's kind of a metaphysical style comedy, and she encounters basically all these people in her life, important figures in her life, trying to make amends, try to get closure. It's got a great supporting cast. So basically, the lead actress is Zoe Lister-Jones. We've got Kaylee Spaney, Helen Hunt, Olivia Wilde, Fred Armisen, Lamorne Morris, and Nick Kroll. And it is written and directed by Daryl Ween and Zoe Lister-Jones. So that is how it ends. It's very quirky. I think you guys would like it. Jimmy and Matt, I'm looking at you guys. Check that out. We have a thriller coming up called The Nest, which stars Dee Wallace, who we probably know from the 80s horror films, Cujo. Matt, what else was she in? You're a
Isn't Dee Wallace from E.T.?
E.T.
Yeah.
I'm in E.T. and Cujo.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's also in Devil's Rejects. Bleh. Bleh. Rob Zombie movies. Bleh. She's in like 1,000 80s horror movies.
But we all pretty much know her from E.T. So
E.T. and Cujo, which I just rewatched.
Awesome. And on July 23rd, we have a movie that we're probably going to review on the show, the new M. Night Shyamalan thriller, Old. Yeah, so it could go either way, guys. It could be really awesome. It could be really crappy. I don't know.
I think that's literally his career trajectory, isn't it? It's just there's two levels.
Well, it used to be like, okay, guys, there's a twist in my movie. Now, if there is a twist, the twist is, oh, that was good.
So it's really hit or miss, guys. But I'm pretty excited. And after that, also coming out on the 23rd is Snake Eyes. No interest in G.I. Joe movies, but okay. I thought the first one was pretty good, but it's just the Transformers syndrome. Let's just take a classic toy line and make some obnoxious action movies about it. That's really what it is, and I'm really not looking forward to Snake Eyes. I'm not a huge fan of
That's quite an advertisement for something that may be on your show in a few weeks.
I don't think it will, but it'll be fun tearing it apart for sure. Then we have another Tribeca Film Festival film, not a great film either, called Settlers, which is a sci-fi thriller about a family that colonized on Mars, and basically some serious stuff goes down. So that's called Settlers. We also have an action-adventure fantasy called Midnight in the Switchgrass, starring Megan Fox and Bruce Willis, also Emile Hirsch, great actor, loved him in Into the Wild. So this is kind of I think it's like a crime thriller. They say it's an action-adventure fantasy, but from the poster, it looks like a cop thriller. So that's called Midnight in the Switchgrass. And two more for you guys. We've got a Mark Wahlberg action-adventure fantasy called Joe Bell. Another.
Oh, that's not an action-adventure fantasy. I've seen it. It's a somber drama.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that, Mateo.
Yeah, it's a true story. It's really good. It's about homophobia in America.
Okay. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Mark Wahlberg fan, but the story does interest me. I think it's a very important topic, and hopefully it'll do well. And last on the list of coming attractions, we've got a comedy fantasy romance called Hereafter, which features Christina Ricci, and it is a dark fantasy comedy about the meaning of love in the afterlife. So I just immediately thought of Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep, but I doubt it's going to be that great. So we'll see. What are we working on? Some plugs. What do we got going on that we want the public to know about? Mr. Chung.
I'm a dad these days. I'm working on a lot of changing diapers. But one thing I am super excited about is I just discovered there's a 3-hour cut of Superman 1978.
Okay.
And I just purchased it on Amazon, and I got friends coming over, and what a great way to, celebrate Richard Donner than watching that movie, especially a cut that you've never seen before. Have you guys seen the 3-hour cut before?
No,
I have.
we have.
I've so far from the cuts that I have seen, I've seen like obviously the theatrical, and then also the special edition, I guess, that came out back in like 2004, I believe, or whatever. I really like the 2004 one. What I'm hearing about the 3-hour one is it's all shot by Donner, but it's just like all these extra scenes, the lead scenes that were just thrown in. So it's just interesting at the very least. I feel it's gonna be. I don't know.
All right.
I like it.
You like it? All right, good. Oh,
Like,
thank
I mean,
God, jeez.
I love seeing because like I mean they cut so much of the Smallville stuff out of like the movie.
Oh yeah,
I
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just like seeing all that stuff.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I'm super.
So I
looking forward to
know
it.
about the Donner cut of Superman 2. I didn't know that the
Yes.
first Superman had an extra cut.
Well,
Sure.
what happened was apparently, so the producers, they had it where for TV they would have all creative control basically, and so what they wanted to do was for TV they made it a two-parter, a two-night special, and so to sell more commercial time basically, right? So they made a 3-hour cut where they just threw every scene that ever existed into it and just elongated it basically.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Is that Blu-ray or DVD?
Blu-ray.
Awesome.
No 4K yet, but I picked up the best that's available.
Well, enjoy that. I wish I were there. That sounds like a fun night.
Oh, I'm super stoked.
And a lovely tribute to the late great Richard Donner. So
100%.
that was, yeah. I mean, he had a great career. So
Mhm.
he
Absolutely.
certainly left behind a legacy, a great legacy. So I'm happy for that. But yeah, rest in peace, Mr. Donner, sir. Mateo, anything you want to plug, mention?
Well, I'm an actor as well as reviewing movies, so I'm working on 3 projects right now. If you're in the New York City area, I'm doing a children's show in various parks from Governor's Island to Central Park. It's called Playing Possum. Will be this month and next month. That's with Rising Sun Productions. I'm also in a Zoom play with Conch Shell Productions. It's all plays written and directed by people of color. It's going to be really fun. It's one act, a bunch of one acts together. If you go to Conch Shell Productions, I believe it's streaming donation only, so you can see it anywhere in the world. That's on the 31st. And then opening on the 29th through August, I'm in a play at the Chain Theater Festival called Dead Wives Dance the Mambo by Desi Moreno Benson. And it's a very dark, Latin-infused horror on stage, I would say. But it's really cool. It's going to have I get to dust off my dancing shoes and play a very bad guy. And if you're not in the New York area, the 29th will also be live streamed. So if you go to thechaintheater.org, you can also buy a ticket for that.
Cool. Wow, busy guy. busy man.
I cut out sleeping, so that's what it really helps.
I'd like to plug sleep.
Not necessary.
Mr. Roran, how is Pickle Island?
Pickle Island's good. It's it's happening. It's a happening place. You can buy pickles, you can buy CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray, VHS, video games, comic books. It's fun.
Wow.
And you can find me there in Bayville, in Pickle Island. Hey!
Always awesome. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much. This was a great show, as usual, but you guys are all awesome in your own right. Jimmy, Mateo, Matt, thank you so much for being here to review these movies and to just hang out tonight. And I want to just welcome everybody watching at home and on your devices. Feel free to subscribe and share the YouTube channel, Unger the Radar, with a G, Unger the Radar. And also for brand new episodes of Unger the Radar, you can go to Manhattan Neighborhood Network every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern. for new episodes. And next week, we are going to do a recap of season 1 of Loki, the new Marvel series. So we're continuing the Marvel theme. It's controlling our lives. What can I say? But it's a good thing. But yeah, guys, I want to thank you so much again. And yeah, I'm Randy Unger. This has been Under the Radar. I'll see you guys next time.